All right, one vehicle that didn't make my talking about every vehicle's list is this 4Runner right here. And the reason it didn't is because this has always technically been my mom's car, but it really should have made that list because I've been driving this car a ton. You know, I mean, pretty much we've had this car 24 years now. That's a long run for any car. And it's, you know, let's go. So let's go for a ride in this thing and just kind of talk about it. Hey buddy, hey Cody. We got this car in 1998. I was graduating elementary school in 98. The car was pretty much new. It's a 96. It came off like a 2-year lease and we bought it at the dealer, and we actually paid money for this car, you know, my parents. And granted, up until that time, we never paid money for cars or always had the way a lot of our family cars that we got were. It was kind of a funny way to do it, but my dad would see cars like in people's yards, and the whole trick was he's like, you gotta look for cars with no plates on them, because that's how you know it's for sale, or you can get it. And you know, they weren't like, and so what he'd do, he'd see a car with no plates on it, and he loved Volkswagens, and go knock on the door, and a lot of times he'd get that car either like cheap or free. And that's how we'd get cars. Like, we never paid for cars. You know, they'd be broken and you just fix it. All right, so this is what happened. This is why my dad got tired of driving cars like that. Is because we had this Volkswagen Golf that was acquired. It was like a few $100 car. Drove it for years, but it had this one issue he couldn't quite figure out, where this fuse would blow. And it didn't do it that often, but it did it enough where he knew what it was. And the car would stop running as you were driving, just out of the blue. And one day it did it on the Kingston Rhine Cliff Bridge. You know, it's like a really big bridge. And so he has to like stop the car real quick, jump out of it, pop the hood to fix this fuse. And as he was doing that, some person yells like, oh, don't jump off the bridge, because that's what that looks like. And he kind of said, you know, I feel like it's time to get a good car. So that's when this came about. Nothing but good things to say about this car. The whole time we've had it, I mean, the amount of times that, look, it's got 250 on the clock. This car has broken very, very few times. I mean, it got like a clutch put in and I did brakes in it, you know, a bunch of times. But not much stuff. This thing always works. Tows, and it's a nice car. The standard transmission, that 3.4 liter engine's got nice power. You can shift into 4-wheel drive as you're moving. What's up, buddy? You know, it's got nice big tires on it and good ground clearance. I mean, another nice car we kind of had before this that wasn't a free car was this Mercedes, but you know, that car kind of, you know, people, I don't know why people like get these. My mom always called it, oh, the prima donna car, and because like it was a diesel and it was rear-wheel drive and it was really nice, but like it was terrible in the winter because it was hard to start the diesel engine, and then if there was a little bit of snow on the ground, that thing was like worthless. Could not move, it would just get stuck. And we had all these Volkswagen Rabbits, you know, there'd be a ton of snow on the ground and Rabbits would go anywhere. The Rabbits were cool. My dad had all these diesel Rabbits. One time we even had like our yard full. We had a lot of Rabbits at one point because he'd get those for free too. I mean, he even bought a new one once, you know, in like 83 bought a new one. I don't know, I probably, as a little kid, that probably did the most driving around in Rabbits. When we got this, we got that white Trooper. That was kind of my dad's before I started driving it. You know, we bought that to tow. So the reason we got the white Trooper was because my dad bought this 25-foot sailboat, and we had nothing to really tow it with. But like we used to tow it with a Jetta, which was like it just looked ridiculous. I mean, yeah, the sailboat wasn't that heavy. It weighed on its trailer, it weighed about 3,000 pounds. But being 25 foot with a cabin and everything behind that Jetta, it just looked enormous. And so then we got the white, and it was funny, like with launching it with the Jetta, because it like it would back down the ramp, but it wouldn't pull it back up the ramp. And you have to get towed by something else as you're doing it. I was like, yeah, this really is not the right vehicle to be doing this. Then we got this white Trooper, but you know, we paid like $300 for that, but then half the frame was bad, and we got a new half some guy put a new half of a frame in the thing for us. You know, we went to a junkyard, bought a frame out of another trooper, cut it in the middle, made the splice right about in the middle of the car. So, and I would take this thing off-road. I was just careful not to dent this one, because this was still my mom's car and she would get mad if it came back smashed up. So, but with the nice big tires and suspension on this thing, I mean, you can definitely rally it pretty good with the, you know, I've definitely gotten this thing airborne quite a bit. If I just didn't, all I did was just not crash it into things just to keep it looking good.